Hey y'all, I'm going to show you around the garden today. I was just watching a video that my friend Allie over at Little Hill Homestead had put together, and it was a real life garden tour. And we show real life around here. I say that often, but I thought today I would show you my garden and talk about some of the things that have been really successful this year, but also talk about some of the things that haven't been so successful. Don't want to call them failures, because if you learn from it, is it really a failure? But and it's like that every year with gardening. I feel like I'm always learning something new, even though I have been gardening my entire life. Every year, multiple times a year, I am learning something new. So I'm going to show you around the garden and talk about some of the things that have done really well this year and some of the things that haven't done so well. All right, so just a couple, well, not even, maybe a week ago, I guess it's been a week ago, this space looked different. And I just, as we were starting to work on it, I walked through and took a quick clip to show you. I didn't really know how I was going to share it or where I was going to share it, but I knew that I wanted to just capture what the garden was looking like in that moment, because it was real life. And we had been gone on vacation. There had been a lot of rain, and then we got back and the weather still wasn't real great. And it wasn't that we had not been in the garden, but we couldn't spend much time in the garden. And very quickly things got out of hand. I had let some of it go purposefully. The squash this year, the squash bugs and the vine borers have been awful. And I did all the things to try to prevent them as long as I could, but eventually I just had to say, here, you want it, you can have it. And then things like radishes were going to seed, and I let them go to seed. So some of it was intentional, and then some of it was just life and what had happened. But even in that, what looks like mess, we still got a bounty of food. We were still getting a bounty of food. Enough for us, for the farm stand, for family. And so things were still doing well. It just didn't look real pretty. And obviously, so plants want to grow. The more you tend to them, they might grow better for you. And yeah, if you keep things cleaned out around them so that they're not having to compete, they're going to do better. But even when it looked like it did, we were still getting a decent amount of food from that garden. So here's what she's looking like now. These are our straight 8 cucumbers on this trellis, and they have gone all the way to the top and have met at the top. And y'all, we have gotten so many cucumbers this year. Last year was not a cucumber year. We struggled with cucumbers last year. It was the first time I can ever really remember struggling with cucumbers, but oh, we did last year. This year, they have done wonderful. We've made pickles. We've eaten cucumbers, given cucumbers to family, had cucumbers at the farm stand. We've made bread and butter pickles, dill pickles, and the cucumbers have done fantastic. So there's a win. This area right here, this is where that squash was. It's gone. We still got squash and zucchini. It just not the bounty that we usually do. And the bugs got to it. Even though I was keeping the grass out from around the base, I was thinning them out. If I saw squash bug eggs, I was getting rid of them. It didn't matter. They were still taking over this year. Now, it stays warm here long enough. We have a long enough growing season that I'm thinking about replanting. We've also got a spot over here on this side. These are some volunteer sunflowers that came up. We had radishes here. Those are gone now. We did let some of them go to seed. We ate a bunch of radishes. It was great, but then it got hot. Onions were over here. We harvested our onions. They're small, but we got some onions. So we have this space and all along the front, and things usually grow really well right here. So what should we plant, y'all? More summer stuff? Some things we can carry over into fall. We thought about maybe planting some pumpkins. Cucumbers have done well. Maybe I should take advantage of that and grow more cucumbers and put up more cucumbers, more pickles. What would y'all grow right here? Tomatoes Tomatoes have done good this year. We have some that are, I mean, this plant right here is 6 feet tall plus. I mean, they've done well. We did get a lot of rain early on, and that caused a few issues. Blight and some other things are showing up, which is so hot and humid here. There's a spider web. Walked right through it. It's so hot and humid here that that's just bound to happen. We've gotten a good bit of tomatoes though. Early on, some of them were rotting on the vine. Again, just I think because there was so much rain. But now that it's dried up a little bit, they seem to be doing better. We just came through and picked a bunch yesterday. Or I would show you some. I've got them in the house though. But yeah, I mean, it's just that time where blight is starting to be an issue. The Florida weave has worked well, especially for these that like to get a little crazy. This front half of the garden definitely grows better for us. And the lemon boys, and these are Tennessee britches. Those have done fantastic up here. Gotten a little wild and crazy, but the Florida weave has kept them under control. This was a tunnel right here when we started working on the garden. After that clip I showed you, and we kind of separated them out. They had grown into a complete tunnel right here. I'm dealing with some pests. Like right here, this one right here is done got eat by something. Let me get it off. Something I wanted to point out is I have things I do to combat some of these issues. Like I have a spray that I make that I can put on my tomato plants to help at least slow down the blight and leaf spot so that the plant can grow and produce fruit. It's kind of inevitable, but I can slow it down. I prune it to slow it down. If you don't know what blight is, it's the little sensors going off over there. Must have been a rabbit or something go by it. But it's a fungal disease. It can a lot of times splash up off the soil. So you'll notice it like on the bottom leaves and stuff first, and then it can kill off whole branches, the whole plant. It can get on the fruit. So, I mean, if that's something you're struggling with and you'd like to see that spray, let me know. But, I mean, I do that. There's things I do for pests. And, y'all, a lot of it's about balance, too. And that's what I wanted to point out is balancing how much time you have to spend in the garden. The products you are or are not willing to use. And just figuring these things out. I've learned a lot even just over the last 4 to 5 years. There's natural products that I don't use anymore or only use at certain times because I know they can harm my bees. So it's just balance and finding these things. I mean, I've been out here smushing aphids by hand and getting squash bug eggs off of leaves with a piece of tape and just wanting to go get a big container of 7 Dust and douse everything. And I have to remind myself, like, I'm trying to do some things different. And I have learned so much over the years that if I hadn't at least tried, I would have never learned. And there's so much about the garden. There's so much more than just food. And don't get me wrong, our family depends on this food. We rely on this food. It helps me keep our grocery budget down. It's the kind of food I want to feed my family. We rely on this. But if I had to go to the grocery store, I could. My grandparents, great-grandparents, like a lot of times that wasn't an option for them. They had to grow their food. They had to do what they had to do to make sure they had food to eat. So we do have other options, but I rely pretty heavy on our garden. But there's more to it than the food. It's the quiet time. It's the things I've learned. It's the things I've learned about myself. Y'all, I grew up watching my grandparents grow enough food on a small bit of land to feed their whole family for a year, to put 50 quarts of green beans in the back of their closet and 50 quarts of tomato juice and freezers full of squash and turnip greens and those kinds of things. I watched them do it. I knew it was possible, but in my young adult life, there were times where I was like, I can't do that. I can't grow that much food. I can't feed my family off of a garden. I'm not capable of that. Even though I knew it was possible, I still doubted myself. And then I watched myself grow enough potatoes to feed my family for a year. I watched myself grow enough peas to feed my family for a year. I watched myself grow enough tomatoes to can big batches of salsa, and I saw what I was capable of. Y'all, we don't give ourselves enough credit. And that doesn't mean it's always been easier. It's always gone like I wanted to, and there's been a lot to learn along the way, but we're capable of a lot more than we think. And not just in the garden. I can carry that with me into other areas of my life as well. So I guess that was my little soapbox for the day about how it's about so much more than just the food and just growing things. And while I get so much joy from that, I've learned so much along the way through the things that went well and the things that didn't. Let's walk back here to my Georgia Candy Roaster squash. I've been babying this thing, and there's still some that look beautiful on here that are growing. But the first one, the one that was the biggest, I was so excited about it. My chickens got out, and they pecked her. I've let it scab over. I thought about just going ahead and cutting it off, but I let it scab over. We're going to see what it does. But they're still growing. Justin doesn't like these things because they take over. The base of the plant is here, and it's gone all the way across the back of the garden. Here's another beautiful one that's growing. Squash bug. The bees really like the flowers. These things they're pretty big. This is off of one plant, and I can see I think 4 or 5 of these squash right now. This is about 3 of my hands. And they're delicious. They're sweet. Audrey puts them in. She makes a cheesecake that she uses these in. You can use them in soups, kind of like you would butternut squash or something like that. So it's done well, but it was a little bit of a bummer that the biggest, prettiest ones the chickens got a hold of. The beans are going to be moving next year. We have eaten beans, and we have canned a few beans, but you can see this back half does not do near as well as the front half, and they are starting to die off faster than the front half. So they're going to move next year. I think my garden spaces in general are going to change up a little bit next year. Just something I've been thinking about and kind of going through in my mind, and Justin and I have been talking about it. We may move a decent bulk of what we were planting here over to another spot that I'm going to show you, and this may become more of a raised bed garden over here. Close the door, because the raised beds have done really well. I'm making a video, baby. The raised beds have done really well. These are VEGO raised beds. I actually have another one in the house that I'm going to put together to put here, and then hopefully can add maybe 3-4 more over here next year, because I've been impressed. I grew up in-ground gardening, seeing in-ground gardening. It's what I've always done, and for the size, the amount of things we like to grow, it definitely works well for us. But when you've got an area that so the roots off the trees and different things just affect this whole space right here. But in the raised beds, things have grown really well. I mean, look at these pepper plants. They're doing so good. I actually went and put some more pepper plants in here about a week ago, and they're growing good. This one has a little friend on it. Go on now. Something looks like it's enjoying a snack off of some of these, so I'm going to have to take care of that. But, I mean, they have done really well in this raised bed. Lots of worms. Oh, I don't know, baby. This was our cabbage, and it did good. It's the most success I've ever had with cabbage. When we were gone, a storm came through and blew my cover off of it, and the cabbage moths got to it and laid their eggs, which turned into worms and destroyed a good bit of the cabbage. Some of it was salvageable, some of it went to the chickens, but it was the best luck I've had with cabbage yet. So that's good. What we have in here now that the cabbage is gone is pumpkins, and we're gonna let these vine out over the edge. This marigold looks pretty. These pepper plants are also doing pretty well. I've got some green bell peppers, some, bless you, some sweet banana peppers.
What? Banana peppers.
Sweet banana peppers.
What?
Cayennes. More sweet bananas. These are hot bananas, and you can tell just from here to here the difference in the. So I mean, these are doing okay, and they've got peppers on them.
I got one.
You did pick one, yep. But they're just not, even just from here to here, they're not doing as well. So let me show you the mistake I made. Our Greenstalk, we've harvested things out of it. So some of these empty pockets we harvested radishes out of. I have gotten a couple of tomatoes off of this tomato plant. This pepper plant has blooms on it. We've been eating on parsley and cilantro. My cilantro has bolted, and I knew when I planted this that a lot of the things I was planting, it was going to get too hot for too fast. Some of the lettuces and different things, but parsley, cilantro, radishes, all of that did well. Even the tomato. I mean, this tomato plant didn't grow like crazy, but it's had tomatoes on it. Just step right here and show you what I did. So this should be ideal time of day for that Greenstalk to get sun. And I put it right beside my trellis where I put cucumbers that vined over the whole thing. So I pretty much shaded it out. Again, while my cucumbers were low, things grew great. We harvested the radishes, we've had herbs, the flowers did great. And then once it got shaded, yeah, it hasn't gotten enough sun. And I don't know why I didn't think that one through, but I didn't. And so, again, we're changing up some garden spaces next year, but if this stays here, it will move to the other side. This stuff may move to a new space next year, though. This area here is probably where we're going to move a lot of stuff next year and just kind of experiment with that and see how it goes. We've used this space for potatoes and watermelons in the past, and we did just harvest over 100 pounds of potatoes from right here. But you know, they didn't look real pretty before we harvested them. They had died, the plant had died back, grass was starting to take over, but underneath all of that was still over 100 pounds of beautiful potatoes. We have gotten so many peas off of this. The grass is starting to grow up in it. I think these plants are about to come out. I've got some peas that are still on here drying that I'm going to save for seed, but we've harvested. I think I've put up 24 quarts of these Crowder peas in the freezer. I've got another basket in there now that we picked last night that I need to go shell. So the peas have done well. A storm did come and blow a bunch of them over, and so they didn't look so pretty. Some of them have kind of stood back up, but they have been bountiful. So bountiful, and I'm incredibly blessed by that. And then where we harvested the potatoes, we have come back and planted watermelons and cantaloupes. And it's about time to come through and thin some of them out, but they're coming up well. There's a few hills that Fletcher accidentally stomped on, but I think even they're gonna make it through. Good Lord willing. And thank goodness we have a long growing season, because this is my second time to plant watermelon and cantaloupe this year, because I originally planted it back in the back where we've planted it before, and it's done great. And with all the rain we had, it completely flooded. I'm talking underwater flooded. And the seeds either washed away, A couple of them tried to come up, but just couldn't. They just couldn't survive back there. And so here we are a month later, and once we harvested the potatoes, we replanted watermelon and cantaloupe. Thank goodness we got a long growing season.
You can come out here now.
Yeah, you can. Where's Fletch?
Inside.
Oh, he went inside.
How much do they grow?
This one has helped. He had his hands on planting these watermelon. He put every single seed in the ground. There's some growing right there.
Mom, how big are they gonna be?
They'll vine, hopefully, and cover this whole space in watermelon vines. That's the hope.
Oh, there's some down here.
There he is.
Oh, they let them grow. Oh. They will figure out how to grow.
He said, bye little plants, make sure you grow into watermelons. This is Audrey's wildflower garden. And I mean, there's grass and stuff coming up in it. But for the most part, it's covered in, yeah, you pick wildflowers. It's covered in beautiful flowers. And the butterflies love it. And she's made beautiful flower bouquets. But you know, even here, we planted sunflowers along the back, and this plant right here is doing really well. So, what, the bees? Yeah, they're going out to work.
Yeah, bees working on honey.
That's right, working to make honey.
But they will sting me.
Not if you don't get too close to them.
Okay.
But even back here, it's like these are doing good. This one's beautiful.
Mom, can I pick some sunflowers?
But then you've got these that just didn't, bless its little heart.
Mom, I found the white color.
You pulled that one up from the root, honey. That one is very pretty.
Mom, is it red?
It is red. Hey, let's go look for eggs while we're out here. Excuse me, miss. I know. You don't want me to take them. Sorry. Little broody, are we? Excuse me, ladies. No eggs in here yet? Still too early? I am pretty excited about trying to expand the raised beds right here. And these VEGO beds have been amazing. I got them in this green color. It's like a sage green. Can't remember exactly what it was called. Was it called sage green? And you can configure them different ways. But I've made them long, skinny, is it ovals?
Mom, can I go to where there was a rainbow last night?
Yeah, but Grandma's not here right now.
No, he's house.
I've planted in these beds right here, my herbs, because it's right off the porch. I've planted in these for 3 years now. These two had dill in them, and it was beautiful until it wasn't. And I used it to make dill pickles and put in several different things. But it is obviously gone now. This basil has also done pretty good. I mean, it's starting to show some signs of issues. But we've used the basil. My little rosemary, bless her heart, she never really grew. I don't know why. I mean, I struggled with ants in this bed, so maybe that's part of it. But bless her little heart, she never really grew a whole lot. The lemon balm has been beautiful. and done well, and we've used a lot of it. I probably should go ahead and dry some of it as well as the mint. I'll try to cut these back, and hopefully it'll come back next year off the roots. But it's getting to that point now where it's so hot here. I mean, 95 plus degrees during the day, and this will wilt down, and then it'll get watered and it'll cool off in the evening and it'll perk back up. But it's definitely getting a little hot for it, and at some points during the day, bless their heart, they don't look so pretty. And the mint has done really well, but again, it's just so hot right now, it's starting to struggle just a little bit. We've enjoyed it though, and these were plants that came from Azure and had really good success with them. Really good success. But we'll have to wait till it cools off a little bit and the sun starts to go down to water things, baby. We planted this whole area on the side of the house with different raspberry bushes and dewberries and blueberries and blackberries and all kinds of things.
Mommy, can you go eat some blackberries?
Yeah, you can. And only the strong survived. We're going to take a little bit different approach next year. It wasn't a complete flop. We have a couple of blueberry bushes. The one that was here is gone, but 3 of them have made it. This is a mulberry, like a dwarf mulberry. We actually planted it last year, and it's come back and beautiful this year. These are blackberries, and they've been here for a couple of years. This year we're going to trim this back pretty heavily, but they did good this year. And the other things that we had planted here, not so much. The other varieties of raspberries that we had through there, not so much. But these 2 plants, these 2 raspberry plants that I got from Azure have done so good. And it's about time to get a cattle panel or some string to help these run along and hold on to. The Japanese beetles, did get a hold of them a little bit, but I've put up some traps, and that's kind of gotten that under control a little bit. For the most part, got it under control. But these raspberries, we got them from Azure, and they were just little tiny plants. And they're still kicking. This one has eaten his weight in blackberries this year. So, we had some things that went really well this year, and we had some things that didn't go so well. We've learned from it. We've grown through it. We've eaten a lot of good food and have been blessed by it. We still got growing ahead of us, literally and figuratively, and I love every minute of it. It's good for my soul. It's good exercise. We've got many garden workouts, and it's also just good for my soul. So y'all tell me, what would you plant in the empty spaces? What should we try? It's always fun to try new things and to grow those that are like tried and trues, but even sometimes them tried and trues let you down a little bit. So let me know, what would y'all plant there? And how has your garden been going this year? Did you grow a garden? And if you haven't, well, maybe this is a little bit of an encouragement to you that you can do it. It may not always look Pinterest perfect, but most gardens don't. It doesn't have to look Pinterest perfect to give you good food and to be fun. And if you're gardening and you've got some things that you're just like, why? I feel like I'm just not doing a good job, or why is this happening? Why is it doing this? Why does it look like this? Maybe this was encouragement to you that you're not alone. I've literally been gardening my entire life, and there's just some things like, hey, it's mid-July. There are weeds and disease is starting to happen on plants, and bugs are starting to happen on plants, and that's just part of it. We take care of it the best we can, but then some of it just happens. It's just the cycle of it and how things go. I'll link Allie's video too. I was telling you at the beginning that she had done a real life garden tour, and I shared how things were going in her space. I'll link it so that you can watch it as well. Thanks for walking around the garden with me today. I love you. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.
Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.